think I know better than anyone that there's a whole bunch of candidates out there that are less than ideal for this year's local body election. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some great candidates running as well all over the motu. So I figured I'd sit down, have a chat to some of them, learn about what it is that they want to bring to the table, see who it is that's running with it this election. We're sitting down with some people that are putting their hand up for your vote all over the motu to learn a little bit about their vision for their communities, the kaupapa that they want to lead with, and how they intend to achieve what it is that they lay out. Joining me today from the city with the most unified opinions about building a hospital, as promised, from anywhere in the country, is the only candidate who's been on one of my other videos, and I'm keen to get on this series because sometimes we all need more context, which is why I tell everyone that they should still continue to go out and research their candidates. It's Dunedin Council candidate Cyndee Elder. Kia ora. How are you doing, Cyndee? Are you staying warm down there?
Oh, as warm as we can down here, but it's actually
That's
quite a nice
fair.
day today, just very, very windy.
Oh, we've got the wind here as well, and we've had the bridge shut down a couple of times today. It's been very windy, and I'm waiting for the cover on my front deck to blow away again.
Oh,
It's not fun. Not fun at all. Hey, you stood out for me for a couple of reasons. On the other video, there was the whole New Conservative link, but you were the only person of the 200 odd people that I have profiled so far who approached me and said, "Let me give you an explanation as to what happened." And the explanation makes perfect sense. Who didn't try and blame anybody else, who didn't try and deflect to other candidates, who's willing to go, let's have that conversation. Every other one that has reached out to me so far has called me horrible names, which I totally understand, but also not taken responsibility for their own actions, which I find normal when it comes to these kind of people. But you were the complete opposite. So absolutely stood out for me. And like, okay, I need to sit down and have this chat with Cyndee. I need to find out more about her. I need to work out what it is that she can bring to the table in Dunedin, because Dunedin is a fascinating city.
oh, you glitched out there a wee bit.
Oh, see, here I was doing like my best John Campbell impersonation about how brilliant you were to stand up and say to me, let's have this conversation. We'll see if it recorded my end and I'll just edit around it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And well, I think it's the easiest way to stamp out fire is if you just get in there and own it, move forward,
Yeah,
and yeah, just keep going, keep going.
yeah. So tell me about what your vision is for Dunedin.
I want a more connected Dunedin, and I know that sounds like blah blah, same thing, but I want action, and that's why I'm running because I have an action. I have been working on an action. It's not just I can do this and I can do that, but I am actually bringing something that I can do, and that is in regards to housing and connecting the civic fabric.
When it comes to housing in Dunedin, what is the situation at the moment?
Oh, it's pretty dire. I think on average we build 380 houses a year, which is a shortfall of 160 a year, and that is just in the urban area and only covering Dunedin's growth. That is not including old stock, rundown, empty, or anything else that we have. That is just specifically a shortfall in population growth. We also
When you
have
have a shortfall, oh no, go on.
we have approximately also it's getting climbing up to the 5,000 mark for rough and unhoused sleepers.
So that was going to be my next question. What those numbers are looking like there, because those numbers seem to be climbing everywhere at the moment, and they do seem to have a direct correlation to this government's no, we're not going to do emergency housing stance that they've taken. Strange how that happened. Um, in terms of the growth that you're looking at, then for what's needed versus what you're actually getting, how is the city's infrastructure handling what's being built now and what is actually needed, like pipes and roads and those kind of things?
Um, it's sort of a slow process too, and most of that again is red tape, bureaucracy, all of those things that held up, and then the costs climb because you've got consultant fees, you've got architectural fees. I mean, you spend more on the paperwork and the meetings and the consultations. I mean, how many years do we have to continue having the same consultations? We know there's a problem, so instead of continuously talking about what's not happening, we should be putting that focus into what we can do with what we have.
In terms of how you get to your vision, do you have like a plan for what council can do to help with that along the way, and what the role of a councillor in that council can achieve?
Most definitely, most definitely. I've been researching different ways to utilize buildings, and I know, we'll get a few eye rolls on this, but that's okay. We've got, like, the DCC do own some buildings now. When they sit there and say that they can't fit them out, they're right. They'll have to go through a whole heap of structural blah blah blah, but there is a way around it. Instead of using structural enterprise. So I'll use semis for example. It's at the moment just sitting there. It's got a plan, it wants to be retrofitted back to a theatre use. Well, in the interim, we could do something on the inside with what needs done, retrofit it, make it safe. It's got cooking, it's got changing, it's got showers, it's all got the amenities in it. We could then take roll out futons and partitions and use furnishings because they are not structural and they can be removed. So therefore, removes any red tape of that happening. And then we're shifting. We're shifting. We're not solving, but we're shifting. We've now got one place where all the social services can actually go and start fixing it from the bottom. Is it going to happen overnight? No, none of it will happen overnight, but it is things that we can talk about rather than looking about how much money we have to spend to make something new when we could be repurposing. We're repurposing at a lower level, lower cost. How many people are we taking off the street, and what does that cost us now? A little bit of Kiwi ingenuity, because that's a big thing. A
Mhm.
little Kiwi ingenuity is what is needed right now.
In your profile, your byline that you're using is it Together Kotahi Taka, or Great
Building
Bringing.
Kotahi Taka, which is building togetherness.
This is probably my ignorance here. Is that a regional dialect difference for Kotahitanga? Because
I believe there's a dialect between the North Island and the South
yeah,
Island. It's
that's what I was, because I couldn't find a difference for it online. It kept coming up with the same thing, and yeah, I'm from the Tainui area, which is all double vowels, and when I use that anywhere up here in Auckland, I get people asking why I'm spelling things funny. But yeah, I hadn't come across that term actually before I had a look at your profile, and I'm like, oh, look, it's a cool concept, beautiful concept, but yeah, just I didn't know the word, and as somebody who's not voting in Dunedin, it wasn't the most urgent thing for me to look into. Um,
No, fair enough.
when yeah, I learned something today, and that's the important thing. When you're out there during the campaign, and like you've got a really unique campaign for Dunedin in general, because everybody's elected at large essentially for the council. So you have a lot of people vying for a lot of attention, and it's STV, so everybody has to rank the candidates. They don't have to rank them all, but they rank the ones that they really want. What's the feedback that you're getting on the ground about the issues that people in Dunedin are facing, and what they'd like the council to do about it?
Well, I think it's always the same argument because we're not shifting on those arguments. So we're
Mm.
not getting any shift in conversation. No one's willing to talk to someone else because they won't agree with them, or they might throw back something that they're not willing to deal with. Or I just think we've just really got to put our personal stuff aside for just a wee minute, just long enough to say, okay, let's do this, let's get it done, then work backwards, because then at least we've got something to work off. Right now, if something doesn't work, the whole thing gets scrapped, but it's worked up till then. So if it's worked up till then, why are you going to get rid of the whole thing? You've just wasted money. You've just raised
Mhm.
the cost. You've just thrown out a whole heap of resources and created an intangible debt that has no way of being paid back.
Um, are you getting much in the way of feedback on cosmetic stuff? Because what I'm finding more so in the North Island than the South, although there is some in the South, but more in urban areas than rural areas, are complaints about things like bike lanes and potholes and really small cosmetic things that are being used to ramp up how angry people should feel about elections.
Oh,
It seems
most
to be like a
definitely.
pain point. Is that happening down there as well?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The cycleway was a huge one. What was another one? Oh, there's been a few down here, the rainbow crossing. But like my view on that again is if we've all got what we need, what we want can just flourish, man. No one's going to have a problem because I'm not going to have to worry about where my food's coming from. I'm not going to have to worry about if I've got a roof over my head tonight. And I'm just contently, instead of surviving and fighting every day, wages won't matter. Like, I
Mhm.
get angry when I hear these million, $500,000 wages. I'm not angry because or I don't get, wound up because they're earning that. I'm getting wound up because they're getting paid so much to solve a problem that is getting bigger. If everyone was, or a majority was content, then you've earned your $500,000. If your job's
Man,
not
I
getting
don't
done, then you don't
know.
deserve that wage.
I'll happily take a $500,000 wage if anyone was offering it, but
Me
nobody's come
too.
knocking on
Me
my
too.
door. Yeah. Yeah, no one's come asking for that one at all. One of the other issues that we come across up here, which you guys don't have down there, is around the Māori ward referendums, because there's 42 councils that are being forced to have them this year. But because of the specific special relationship with Ngāi Tahu in the area, there's no Māori ward representation directly onto council in the same way that you have with Māori wards that are happening in other places. I'm really curious, as somebody who is kind of a step away from the debate that we're seeing in the rest of the country around this, what your perspective is on those Māori ward referenda.
Oh, again, I mean, this is knowledge that we need. This needs to be incorporated, but I think should be incorporated on meeting. How would you word this actually? Like I'm not against it at all.
Hmm.
Like I don't even think it should be a like an actual label. I think it should just be cohesively. I mean, no matter where you come from, again, whether you like it or not, it's our history.
Hmm.
So does it I just don't even like the argument. It shouldn't even be an argument, this labeling of everything is just getting to the point where it's a little bit over the top, because if we're going to label everything, imagine how many people would end up around the council table. Like, we just need cohesive people that can either reach out further or be able to just sit there and say, right, well, we need to bring these people in for this conversation, or we need to take this conversation to this entity and this entity because we need both views on this. I don't understand why there's such a problem with doing that.
Do you have a political hero, someone who you really look up to in the way that they approach dealing with people, working with people, communities, something like that?
Now, I'm going to be really, really careful and take a minute to think about this.
That's fair. That's very fair. Who I think it was Nicola Willis was asked something similar, or Erica Stanford, and their answer was Margaret Thatcher, and it's like that's a
Oh my
bad
gosh,
answer.
so that's where it came from. So I
Yeah,
got pulled up on that too because I have read her books. Now, again, I didn't read her books because I align with
yeah.
anything for
She's an
power in order
important
to
historical
shift it.
figure, no matter how you feel about her, but she was not a nice person.
No, 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 definitely, definitely not. But in order to shift power, we need to
Mm,
understand power. So, of course, I'm going to read that. I mean,
yeah,
right now, that's causing me all my problems. So, I want to understand that so I know how to communicate that from my side.
mm,
Again, back to communications for me,
yeah.
that's definitely a hugie.
Yeah, the one about finding a political hero is a really odd one, because I know if you talk to a Republican in America, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say their political hero is Abraham Lincoln or Ronald Reagan. because they are the two most well-known, most impactful Republicans that they've ever had in the party. But if you ask a Democrat that, you'll get a really different range of answers. But yeah, for here, we don't really have a political system where you can sort of look up and go, I want to be like Kate Shepherd, maybe, but she wasn't a politician. She was somebody who changed politics. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's Michael Joseph Savage. Maybe he was the first Labour Prime Minister who did all the social housing and things like that. Yeah, it's a really it's a tough question to answer sometimes.
It really is, because you can meet someone on the outside, and then as soon as it gets around the table, sometimes your ideas become theirs, or there's a lot of like, and I think that's a lot why I've sort of kept this to myself too, because again, I'm still building that trust myself,
Yeah.
so that's why I know it's so important.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Second to last question for you. What do you think is the most important thing for voters to take on board before they cast their ballot this year?
Oh, I think looking at who has capabilities of working together, who can sit there and again have these sort of conversations, like that clarification, not afraid of like stepping out there a little bit more. Like, I'm definitely not your typical everyday candidate. I'm very well aware of this. Very well aware of this. But again, like, do I want to see myself working with all of one side? No. Do I want to see myself working with all of the other side? No. We need a team around, like, for example, I cover housing. We need someone else that can cover transport. Like, maybe go and bring portfolios into council as well, and make sure that we have well rounded skills around the table that can tap into experience as well, like, and the ability to change. Because as long as you're arguing, there's some part of you that doesn't quite believe what you're saying, isn't there?
Yeah,
You know?
often. Yeah. And then the final question for you: do you have a presence online where people can find you, like a Facebook page or something like that?
I do, I do. I have. It's a good point. I don't actually know what the tag is for it, but it's Cyndee Elder for DCC, and if not there, obviously you can locate me through Able Abodes or my own personal Facebook. I got nothing to hide, so it's all nice and open across the field.
Absolute legend. Cyndee, thank you so much for sitting down for this conversation. I really do appreciate it. I'm really fascinated to see how voting goes for Dunedin, because it's always
Me
an amazing
too.
way to listen to it. On the 11th, on election day, we're going to do a live stream as well. So I might give you a call as well and go, hey, how did it go? So, and put you on air and freak out everybody.
Awesome. No, that's fantastic. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It was awesome.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Easy as that. Hey, don't forget to give the video a like if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit that subscribe button for the most in-depth coverage of local government elections anywhere in the motu.